All right, Bant lands. We've got one thing that's notable about this is we've only got one Field of the Dead in here and a few different utility lands, because at the core, this is not a Field of the Dead deck. It is a deck that's looking to accelerate using Arboreal Grazer and Uro into top-end cards like Nissa and Hydroid Krasis. I don't know that this more spell-based ramp is necessarily better in a format like Field of the Dead. This deck feels like it has a lot of parallels to the Bant decks that are being played in Standard right now. And I think in large part, those decks are able to be successful in Standard because Field of the Dead is not there to go over the top of them. This deck is leveraging Historic Anthology 2-card Knight of the Reliquary to search up some of our utility cards. This is, even though we're not playing Golos, this is one of the cards that can allow us to find that Field of the Dead consistently in the late game, along with other things like Castles, or Blast Zone, or Field of Rune, or Ghost Quarter. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this and see how it feels. Interested to see if we can draw some parallels between this and the Yarok Field deck that we've seen a little bit of. So I was asking about the Grimoire deck boxes. What the Deef, thanks for the 15 months. This is one of their mid-sized deck boxes. So this one holds, I think it's 300 double-sleeved cards. It's got a little bit of a divider in here at the top too. You can put like dice and pens and stuff in there. They have larger ones as well that hold up to 800 double-sleeved cards, I believe. So you can put like an entire cube inside of it. One of the things also that looks a little bit awkward potentially about this deck is if you took note of the curve, this deck basically started at 3 mana. Arboreal Grazer was our only thing that cost less than 3. So like when we're on the draw in a matchup like this, we're often going to be getting attacked a lot before we make any plays. This will actually be a good measure of how are we going to line up in terms of ramp here. So opponent looks to be going pretty big pretty quickly. It'll be interesting to see if we're able to keep up here. Yeah, as a heads up, the overlay that you're seeing on a computer that is available on mobile as well, there's a little Deckmaster icon that you can click on when you're on your phone, and it has a list of everything in my hand, graveyard, and battlefield that you can click through there. So you can't like touch the elements on the video itself, but there is a list under the video of everything that's currently on display in the video. Really kind of wish we had a sweeper of some sort here. I think we're just like playing Teferi as, hey, look, a distraction.
Stand by and watch. Scott, I'll protect
you. If you deputy a tap Paradise Druid, exiles untapped ones too. That is correct, Sheriff Wiggle, so long as they're all on the same side of the board. Because deputy, unlike Detention Sphere or Maelstrom Pulse, is one-sided. I mean, it only eats the elf in terms of damage, but it also, like, takes the 6/6 out of play. You have any thoughts on Pelucranos in Historic? Yeah, it's kind of slow and clunky. One of the issues with Pelucranos as a card overall is the fact that it's in black, which means like its like pseudo removal effect is being put in a color that has access to real removal. So it's like, well, why would I want this like not quite removal when I could play actual removal? That depends entirely on your window manager or desktop environment, Hoglander. I'm gonna go ahead and take their Paradise Druid here, I think. We could stabilize here on the back of this Field of the Dead. Field of the Dead could generate us enough chump blockers that we have time to like play out all the stuff in our hand. Polyk is a worse version of Nullhide Ferox. One of the things I'd really encourage you to break yourself of that'll make you a better Magic player is stop trying to draw parallels between every card with a previous existing card. Not everything is a better or worse version of something else. Lots of times cards are just different. It's because Nexus of Fate is banned in Historic Best of 1, Monster Man. If you don't want the little exclamation point in the format dropdown, set your deck type to Traditional Historic. Traditional on Magic Arena is code word for Best of 3. All right, so I think I Teferi bounce my deputy their Hydroid Krasis.
No, my responsibility. Let's try this.
There's a Plains in my deck, right? Yeah, there is. I haven't milled it over, right? The old ghost quarter yourself to fix your colors. Bye, friends. All right, we said we needed a sweeper, and we found it. So exactly what we said could happen, currently happening. Field of the Dead gave us enough breathing room with chump blockers to stabilize and start playing out our hands here, it's looking like.
I will protect the virtue of this world.
1 year subscribed is when you get a mod sword. Shillionaire has details there in chat. I think I'm at a high enough life total that I'm just gonna shock both of these in and just play another Uro this turn. You do not get shillings while timed out. That is a Twitch setting that I do not have control over. So they have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana if they want.
Rise, my elemental friend.
They have another Hydroid Krasis here. They know about my Deputy of Detention, so like if they Krasis, I'm just gonna exile it. It's just like really not a big deal. You wonder where you can find the Grixis aggro list? Yeah, you can find all past deck lists up on my YouTube channel. Everything I stream gets archived there. There are full deck lists in the video descriptions. I have 100k shillings, so I'm only 5 years away from a title that's worse than my current one. Fancy Hooglandia royalty. just gonna go ahead and pass here. That's unfortunate. Yikes. We'll shoot. At least we still have our Field of the Dead, I guess. Only having one Field of the Dead feels a little bit bad here. JC Daniel, thank you for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Why do I need to scribe back to him? I have another arrow in my hand. Like, why is that desirable? Okay, so this is actually an incredible draw because it lets me do this, which lets me bounce this, which then lets me deputy this. So then when this dies later, I get my Teferi back. And again, like, one of the awkward things here, this is one of the things I said I wanted to draw parallels to Yarok Field. I don't feel like, looking at this game, the thing I want to be doing is just, like, making Field of the Dead tokens, right? And, like, I only have one Field of the Dead in my deck, and I don't have Yarok, and I don't have Scape Shift, and I don't have Vow, and I don't have a Nexus of Fate to, like, constantly loop over the top. So it feels like the things I'm looking to do to, like, put me ahead in a game like this, I'm just, like, not capable of doing at the moment. Like, my deck doesn't possess those tools, basically. If you bounce 5 mana Tef with 3 mana Tef, you get it back to your hand. I'd encourage you to read the magic cards you're asking questions about. Yeah, I don't know. In this position, in this matchup, I would rather just be Yarok Field, I think. However, like, is it the case that I would rather just be Yarok Field in every matchup is something to think about. Field goes in almost every deck, it seems, and is good. What? That's like some hot nonsense, right? Like, this is the first day we've been playing 3 to 4 historic decks almost every day, and this is the first day we've played like 3 Field of the Dead decks in the last 3 weeks. Field of the Dead goes in every ramp deck. Every Field of the Dead is the best thing ramp decks could be doing. But there's always a best thing to be ramping into. Like, that's just how Magic works. Whatever is the biggest thing in the format is what people are looking to be doing. Yeah, Field needs very specific mana bases. You played it nonsense. We almost never play against it. Yeah, like super anecdotal, but I play against way more Gruul than I do Field of the Dead. Interested to see what the makeup of the Hoaglandia tournament's gonna be on Sunday. I feel like that tournament is gonna be biased in favor of things like Yarok Field and away from Gruul because of the types of people that would watch content on this channel. So I feel like if anything, that's a chance for it to be really overrepresented. More than control. If you're playing against a lot of control, I'd encourage you to put some Field of the Deads in your deck. You'll have a much better time. And like, so again, thinking about like what this deck is doing and how we actually win the game, like I could Hydroid Krasis here for 7, 8, 9, 10, but like there's no Nexus of Fate in my deck that I'm drawing to, right? So like, I'm not really sure what my payoff is here. I guess I'm just like going wide around them in a turn or two here. I think like I'm gonna go ahead and knight away 2 more lands this turn to do some searching and make some more zombies, and then next turn we'll start smashing. Yeah, deck lists aren't due till Sunday morning. Registration and deck list submission are open until an hour before we start on Sunday. What are subs off the top of your head? Cindervines, Gideon. I'd encourage you, Tantrum Tryhards, to go back and look at some of my iterations of that deck before Historic Anthology 2 dropped. So, like, that's an archetype we played for a long time. So you can always find past iterations of deck lists on my YouTube channel. No, it's on Arena. Is the tournament on Magic Online? Get out of here. Ain't nobody want to watch that. So this attack means I get to chump block with this, which gives me my Teferi back. Haven't picked up Arena yet. How much does it run the credit card to buy an Arena deck? So the number of mythics and rares your deck contains dictates the price. I believe you can generally build almost any deck on Arena for somewhere in the $150 to $200 range at in terms of most expensive. And single color decks that don't need a bunch of rare lands in the mana base tend to run a lot less than that. Another thing to know about Arena's card acquisition system is that the more decks you have, the more cards you have, the cheaper it is to get any other decks. So like your first deck is more expensive to get than your second deck's more expensive than the third deck, etc. Because the way Arena card acquisition works, the more cards you have, the more likely you are to already have cards for other decks. Are they dead? They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers. I could take them down to 5 blockers. If they have 5 blockers, they block 2 knights and 3 zombie tokens. They take 22, 23. Still just not good enough here. Still just not good enough here. What if... Is it crazy to time wipe here? Who wants to time wipe? What if I tuck Nissa, Tamiyo, pick up time wipe, time wipe? Oh, I could deputy these. If I deputied these, was it lethal? That's 27. They also have Pelucranos to fight. I don't think we had lethal here. If you count it and figure out lethal, let me know. This is only on 2. Oh, I could deputy Teferi deputy. That really doesn't help though, because I can't deputy the lands. They can't escape. They can fight with Poly K. They can fight it, chat. So this basically blocks 2 things. I don't know. People in chat that are just shouting out piecemeal lines, please stop or you're going to get timed out. If you have a full line that's lethal, type out the full line. Otherwise, I'm going to attack. I'm going to pick up my time wipe. I'm going to time wipe the board. So let's see. When this hits, we needed to deal an additional... How much extra damage do we need to deal? Let's look here. We needed an extra 11 damage. If you could figure out 11 damage on this board state, I believe you. It's a complicated board state, but I don't see it offhand. And shouting out 1 piece at a time. Yeah, they could also fight the deputy in response. Like, A lot of pieces going on here. Let's simplify our lives, huh?
Hey, Daddy, can I have your water?
You can have my water.
Your past never
Enjoy. Math is too hard, would concede. Blame Pirate, thanks for 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
I don't know. For people, again, people that are piecemealing things together, just stop. If you have a full line, post the full line. Otherwise, don't be annoying.
we will not fail. The land shall conquer you.
Oh, do they have a removal spell here? They're gonna attack and then declare? Okay, sure. I'd like the record to reflect my line was ideal because we won the game. That's how this works, right, chat? We won the game, so my line was ideal. Tokyo Whirlwind, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And that was game one. You know, 22 minutes in. We have completed game one with the deck. Ashiok sounds stellar here. Aether Gust sounds good. This is not good against Nissa. Bajuka Bog sounds good. The time wipe was really instrumental there. Having 2 time wipes in the deck was a big deal. I think Shatter's probably good here in the Nissa matchup. I think this is an Arboreal Grazer out matchup, probably. I think this is a matchup where we don't need to necessarily go fast so much as we need to go long. Kakatar, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Ghost Quarter and Field of Ruin, not likely to be super useful here, so I'm going to go ahead and trim one of those since I'm bringing in a Bajuka Bog. Keep my land count the same. We're at 30 lands already. Do all the anthology cards have their original set symbol? They do. They do, in fact, have their original set symbol. I need two more cuts here. Dream Trawler seems good. How useful do we expect Teferi to be? I guess I expect them to have more counter spells post-board. That's probably a reasonable conclusion. Could go down to like 29 lands. I probably don't need Field of Ruin. Trim like 1 Teferi. Teferi doing tricks with, I'm actually gonna trim an Uro. Yeah, Uro ramps me. I'm cutting Grazer. Yeah, I'll leave Uro. Let's do this. Hey, Pie Guy, speaking of 22, thanks for the 22 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I am currently down 2 minutes on clock, so probably will be a little bit disengaged from chat for the remainder of this so I can try and run this out. The opponent play anything that wasn't standard legal? Yeah, Land War Elves. Lands, yep. Check lands. Big. Having better mana is a big deal. I think a lot of people underappreciate how important like just having good mana is in a format like this. Maybe I'm supposed to hold up Aether Gust for potential Nissa here. We are good at drawing the 1 copy of Field. And to be fair, like, we probably wouldn't have won last game if we hadn't had Field of the Dead early. Also fair, though, we did have Knight of the Reliquary going, so she could have just searched it up. So probably a wash thereabouts. Worth noting that Deputy of Detention is non-land permanent, so it cannot exile these forests. Knight of the Reliquary does really struggle to get too large to start in this format, so it is only going to be a 3/3 here. 2/2 now, but we have the Fabled Passage to make it a 3/3, so it's not going to be able to block Nissa lands this next turn. I don't know, Tenorial. This is our first match with the deck, second game. So those types of things are questions I'm going to want to be thinking about while I work towards giving something specific in the wrap-up at the end of the video. War of the Spark Planeswalkers are not fun. Completely disagree with you. I think 3-mana Ashiok's a great design. I think Tybalt's a great design. I think there are a lot of Planeswalkers from War of the Sparks that are both fun and good designs. I think the fact that there are a couple of bad designs means people focus on those couple of bad designs more than anything. Saheeli's a great design. Yeah, and honestly, I'm not sure we can win after they take our Field of the Dead here. I think we were pretty fortunate in the second game, that in the first game, that our opponent didn't do that. Yeah, Sarkhan's a fantastic one. Lots of people like to oversimplify and say things like all static abilities are bad, etc. I think I actually just let this happen. We're not up. I'm going to concede, actually. Yeah, we're not up on clock, and we're pretty far behind here. I think conceding's probably optimal, so I don't have to risk timing out in game 3. Lets me have time to talk more, too. Do I want Mystic Dispute? Probably not. Probably not. It seems rough. We only have one field, and they have Agent of Treachery. Agent of Treachery seems like the go bigger type thing. This will probably make it easier to get into the tournament. Whoops, you're not wrong, Monster Man. I'm going to go ahead and just use this Aether Gust this turn just to slow them down. Hopefully we draw a third land next turn, and then our mana's spoken for the next couple of turns. Perfect. So, with this draw, they put this on top. Do I Ashiok them? Is that too cheeky? I feel like that's not too cheeky. I feel like they wanted this, and I'm not going to give it to them. If we find a green source here, Ashiok will enable our ability to... Well, poop. According to ModView, we've got 199 moderators. The next 12 month sub is lucky 200. Nice. Nice. Ashiok fight, go. For people asking how you skip ahead, For a $500 donation, I do give out mod swords early. This is capitalism. Feel the capitalism. Yeah, it has to be in bits or sub gifts, so you can't charge it back as well. It's a requirement. I ain't new. I know how this works. All right, Teferi, eat their food. What about for 350? Asking the real questions. Tef is a hungry boy, chat. Is there a price to take away someone's sword? Sure, $1,000. Whoever sword you're taking away will understand. Unless they have a crown, and if you want to take a sword away from a crown, you have to double whatever their crown's worth. Well, if we hit a land there, we would have been able to Conquer's Death, but unfortunately, we're only playing 30 lands in our deck, so we couldn't find a 5th one on time. And by on time, I mean 2 turns late. Thanks for the biddies, Mr. Tasty. I guess I'm doing this and taking their Nissa off the table. Or I'm not, you know, or not. The lands in exile don't matter, chat. Again, the lands that you get milled or go away, it's like you never drew them. The starting number of lands tells the story of the proportion of lands in your deck, and these are just like, think of these cards that got milled as cards you never drew. Hey, Psychonaut. Here's number 200, apparently. Have a sword to go with your shield. Thank you for the entire year of support. Correct, unless they're all basics that you need to fetch. Hey, a couple of them. Triple, double Q'd. Thank you for the 12 months. Oh, magic. Yipping beard. Bird. Thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Thanks for keeping me around. After 30 minutes, we have emerged defeated. Yeah, so my concerns with this deck are that it doesn't look like we're well set up to win the big mana mirror. And our curve is so clunky, it doesn't look like we're well set up to compete with aggro. So I guess I'm not really sure what this deck is aiming to like beat or position itself against, if that makes sense. Hopefully we can find some Groll or some Mono Red here and see how the aggressive matchup feels. Yeah, we're not a big fish, and like we're also like not positioned to be just bigger than the little fish. Maybe if they're like Esper control, that's something we thrive against. Of course, we only have 1 copy of Field of the Dead. So like Esper tends to play some Field of Ruin or Ghost Quarters in this format. Kisa's combo, okay. MTG Melee is a really great website, and if you open the tournament page on mtgmelee.com, type !open in chat, it will auto-detect the current time zone on the computer you're viewing the page in and adjust for your local time for the start time. Alright, that's good. You think there's room for a build of this deck that runs more fields? I think you could play a Golos field deck. Again, the question is like, when you're working off the beaten path, the question you have to ask yourself is, why is what you are doing meaningfully better than the other established decks in the format? Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that the opponent's archetype doesn't see more play, because it's felt really powerful and consistent every time we've played it. It could just be that it's a little bit tedious to click through and people don't concede to you being deterministic. But if you're looking for a sweet combo deck in this format, I definitely think that Krasis combo is a great choice. Yeah, Krasis is up on my website. We played it a bunch of times on stream. It's expensive. It's 50 rares and 16 mythics. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. As someone living the whale life, that's not really a consideration I think about. But that actually makes a lot of sense. If it's 50 rares and 16 mythics. It's boring to play. Listen, person who has Tron in their Twitch username, you of all people should be aware of the fact that what people find fun to play is incredibly subjective. Dear Magic player who has Tron in their username. Holy Helix Fossil, thank you for the 32 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, let's get some cards in chat, shall we? Listen, I'm not faulting anyone for enjoying playing Tron. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. I'm just saying different strokes for different folks. Tamiyo is a good Magic the Gathering card. It's actually one of the reasons why the Krasis deck is good. The tug of war over the excavators is 10 out of 10. Where will the excavators end up at? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Opponent currently missing green mana, which is likely part of the reason why they failed to do much. Tron, there has to be a limit. I believe. The last time we played the opponent's archetype, I concluded that I wanted a basic land in the mana base. So I kind of expect them to have at least one. There's also a chance, this is something to think about, that their basic could be a forest. I know Twitch chat really wants this though, so I'm gonna find out how many basics they have. Just for you, Twitch chat, I'm gonna find out how many basics they have. You should appreciate me. 0. 0 is the answer. All right. Get it? Got it. Good. It's good to hit them while they're down. Listen, you should always follow the updates on deck lists on my website. Don't get caught with 0 basics in your deck, chat. What happened right there is exactly why we ended up concluding I wanted basics in the opponent's archetype. Dream Trawler slow. It's probably not a time wipe matchup. Teferi slow. This exiles their namesake. I don't think being linear and ramping is particularly useful here. You do love us. Thanks for the biddies, Top Toe and Marty. Need one more cut here. You know what? I know what gets you going, chat. Yeah, let's just play one dispute. Man, Discord got a hold of the actual @Discord title on Twitter. I wonder what that cost him. So the opponent's archetype is likely 4-color Krasis combo. They're likely missing green mana from their Krasis deck. Twitter confiscates account names from people that might not have cost them anything. Wow, brutal. I'm just gonna cast this and get my use my mana. So we are good at drawing our 1 copy of Field of Ruin. However, or Field of the Dead. However, our deck isn't really built to optimize Field of the Dead. So we're definitely not gonna turn this on 7 lands, right? I already have 2 fountains and I have 2 of these. That's a little rough. How many decks have we played today? This is our 4th? 4th sounds right? Yeah, there's 3 videos on my YouTube channel already that are processed for later. Four to 5 is my goal per day. Yes, we didn't play Magic Online today. I think my plan moving forward is to only play 3 Magic Online decks per week, unless we have a huge influx of Magic Online submissions. 3-ish per week seems to be about what people are sending in. Thanks, Spellcrow. I appreciate the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. I mean, I also raised the price of Moto submissions, so I kind of don't ever expect them to roll in again like they used to. Part of the goal of raising the cost of Moto submissions was to discourage them to a degree. Are not quite dead yet, but getting there. This card is super powerful. They have Mox in here. Yeah, should be dead at this point. So they get to exile 2 things, and they get to cast a Mox, bring back Diligent Excavator, and then we're pretty likely to die from here. So the way the opponent's deck works, just to explain it for a second here, they use Krasis along with Diligent Excavator and Mox Amber, and this allows them to flip their entire deck into their discard pile, and then eventually they utilize Krasis to cast 4 mana Jace from their bin and win with an empty deck. Is there really only 1 Moto deck in the queue? There is, yeah. Exactly one. My intended plan, does this mean you get a horse? You do, and it's amazing, Scooter. My intention to make it with raising the price of Moto submissions is to provide a little bit better quality of service on those. So any Moto submissions will get played within a week. And if we get a flood of them, I will just add more stream time or add more Moto time. So we make sure they get played in a week. which I don't think that'll be too hard of a promise to keep at $50 a submission. Isn't Mystic Dispute a good counter to their Jace? No, their deck tends to generate a pretty arbitrarily large amount of mana with not infinite, but significantly finite while looping Mox in. We'll fetch a white source here, so we have Conqueror's Death down the line. We'll get Night down on 3, which will allow us to play a 5-drop on 4 potentially if we draw it. When and how do we recognize that we're losing and lost? We can surrender versus Kisses. When they have sufficient, when they have the ability to deck themselves from Kisses activations and Diligent Excavator triggers, you've lost the game. If you don't have a way to interact with them at the end, is the sign. So like when you look and see that they can flip their entirety of their deck into their bin. I don't know that I'm really taking build around submissions for older formats. A lot of the times the power level in older formats tends to be high enough that brews generally aren't competitive.
This might be a bad idea.
Yeah, their failure state is when they don't have enough legends in their graveyard to appropriately loop the Mox to mill themselves enough. It's what you look for when they could be breaking off. Yeah, they need 2 Mox to loop as well. So they need to have enough Mox in to do that. Well, a lot of the times they're not winning via damage, brouhaha. Or if they are winning via damage, they'll be damaging you while they mill. In the post-board games, you should expect them to have Jace in their deck. Not really a whole lot we can do here. I guess I could Teferi. Oh, you know what? We have Bajuka Bog in our deck, right? We could get him. Night cast uses Bajuka Bog. Hey, the Superman. Hope you're staying safe out there. Thank you for the 14 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Get your sword to go with that shield. Silliest Putty, thanks for the 5 months.
I've got it.
Just gotta. The real trick is not drawing the bog. I think if they go to bounce my knight, I just bog them.
That didn't pan out.
I think I bog them and reset them. Nah, I don't think so, TDM. I think the opponent's archetype isn't super straightforward to play, and I also don't think that, like, it's that much better than most other things. Oh, was there Jason there? Oh yeah, getting the Jace out of there sounds great. Usually they only play one Jace.
I am Tamiyo. It is an honor to meet you.
The Storm Herald deck from yesterday was really excellent. Super easy deck of the day pick. Yeah, Cathartic Reunion is going to be great. I don't think it got added back to the queue. It did not. As a heads up fixed, only the tier 3 sublevel gets to add a new deck to the queue when they re-up. How long would it take for a historic deck to get played with new cards? The only day I intend to not do historic after the set release is the first day. Starting the second day after the set release, I plan to go back to doing at least one historic deck per day still. So I don't intend to jump in and do all standard. We're gonna shift to focusing primarily on standard while it's most fresh. But still intend to do some historic. Even if standard's good, I enjoy this format a lot. Sure, Percy. I will still just be working out of the queue for historic stuff from the top down. But I also kind of expect to have slightly fewer historic submissions right after the new set. We'll see, though. If there's sweet things that combo well, that could not be true. Hey, Vix, thanks for the upgrade to the tier 3. Yeah, I'd be happy to re-add Sunstorm Herald.
I've got time.
Democracy. Really need a Deputy of Detention? Huh? From one Jeff to another. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year, Thomas. Welcome back. Animate Bog with Nissa so you can get it back with Tamiyo. That's funny. That's probably the line, right? Oh, also, even if they don't kill it, I can get Teferi back to bounce it and replay it. So if I get a next turn, we're probably good to go. Because we'll get to exile a bunch of their graveyard again. Yeah, this Teferi's not non-land permanent. It explicitly calls out the different card types that it can pick up. I don't know, the second chapter from Conqueror's Death. The second chapter from Conqueror's Death makes it hard for us to die, I think, because looping these is harder. Even with the discount from Krasis, they still cost one more. How many cards do they have left? 10. 10 in their deck, 17 in their graveyard. Yeah, regardless of if they kill the bog or not, I should get to rebog them next turn. If they kill it, we Tamiyo it back. If they don't kill it, we Oh yeah, Oath costs 5, right? Yeah. Okie doke. Okay, there's a Tashar. Wow, they're still milling themselves down to 5 cards. They can't cast this because it costs 2. So let's pick up Teferi.
I know my responsibility.
Their Jace is exiled. No, they don't play Oracle because you can't cast Oracle with Kisses.
Now. Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
It's been a really quirky game. Yeah, they could have a second Jace. It's uncommon, but not impossible. It is an incredibly satisfying whoosh as all the cards lead their deck. Yeah, they've really just killed it with these historic anthologies. They're just so well done. Such a good selection of cards. They just like mill themselves out of habit by mistake. HA2 is the best master set ever, don't at me. I mean, it was basically a master set, right? Like the number of cards in it that are playable compared to the average master set, the number of playable cards it has. Okay, I mean, like, they have a Kisses, sure. What's that gonna do for you? Okie doke. Next turn, they milled an Ashiok. So next turn I get to Tamiyo, pick up Ashiok, untap my land, Ashiok mill their last card. Well, that's rude. My short mana now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I have 7, right? So we're still just okay. I just get to mill them out next turn. What a silly game. Oh no! I tapped off double blue, chat. Good thing you can cast Ashiok with black mana too.
No one asked for your input. I have learned much from my ancestors.
You're not scared. I aspire.
Alright, your move, Yuki boy. That's all we got. The thing's doing some stuff. It's definitely not the fastest thing in the world, though. A little over an hour in and played 2 matches. It was a sweet game. The axes that we fought them on was excellent. Why does Arena have 6 ticks and the rank tracker we only go up by 2 at a time? Because best of 1 and best of 3 ladder are the same. So in best of 1, when you win or lose one game, you go up or down by 1 point. Why is that dumb? You think best of 1 and best of 3 should be different ladders? If so, why? Best of 1 is dumb. I think you're dumb. I'm gonna give you a 10-minute timeout. One of the things I would encourage you to break yourself of, it's okay to not like things. It's not okay to crap on things that other people enjoy that you don't. Magic is great because there's so many different ways to play it. And if you don't like one specific way to play it, that's great. Don't play that mode. I don't really care for limited, so I play all constructed. I haven't cared a ton for standard recently, so I've been playing a ton of historic. There's just so many different modes in Magic. And if other people are enjoying standard or other people are enjoying limited, that's great. I'm glad that they find that way to engage with this great rules engine. I don't know, they group sealed and draft into the same limited ladder, right? So like grouping all of the constructed together just seems fine. I don't like any Magic format. I just come here to get timed out. Well, we can't leave you unhappy, Top, though. We aim to please around here. Can you not play sealed as ranked ever? I thought there was a period where you did play sealed as ranked, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. I don't really play limited here. The only time I've really played limited on Magic Arena is when there was that Twitch Rivals thing for it. Yeah, we were up on the Twitch front page for a little bit today. Earlier this morning, someone said, which gave us a little bit of a boost. Thanks everybody for hanging out today, by the way. If you enjoy the content, I'm usually here 4 to 5 days a week. Playing lots of constructed Magic. Playing a lot of historic lately, but also going to dip back into some more standard once the new set drops. Whales assemble. What even is the resolution on this? What is this screenshot? Why is it fuzzy? Why is this? Why can't I read the text? Why can't I read the text, chat? What kind of potato did they take this promotional image on? Enhance. From a default 480p YouTube video. Alright, fine. I will ghost quarter myself. Does it make you happy? Are you pleased? I've ghost quartered myself. Alright, well, I can now escape Uro. However, Narset Parter of Fun is going to mean we don't get to draw a card. Narset, Parter of Fun. Can't we Ghost Quarter them and then it would be a 3/3? Sure, that's correct. I wanted to get my second blue source though, because I was missing my second blue. Well, you know. Dispute sounds good. Ceratop sounds good. Do we assume they're an Uro deck and bring in some graveyard hate? Do we think we should assume they're an Uro deck? And like bring in Bog and Ashiok? I feel like that's probably reasonable. Deputy seems real bad against the Ritual Asut deck. I'll leave one time wipe in. Boris Johnson is in intensive care. They took a while to lock things down over there, right? Was he the idiot that wanted to say herd immunity would protect them, or was that someone else? That was him. All right. And then he went and shook the hands of patients on purpose. Well, you know, Mr. One, thanks for the tip. I appreciate that. Artifact Angels sounds good. I'll get that added to the deck queue after I'm done today. At least there's a small sense of justice when stupid, evil people actually end up harming themselves. It just feels like way too often that stupid, evil people harm the less fortunate and people who are in unfortunate positions. If stupid, evil people ended up harming themselves more often, maybe they'd be less stupid and less evil. We'll get to play Knight of the Reliquary on 3 here, and then if this survives, which is a big if, it gets an interactive matchup, Knight can ramp us to Nissa on 4, which would be great. If we get to keep the Knight, we could also just like eat a Thought Erasure here. Scale of 1 to dead. Where's this Knight at? Dead. Dead side of the scale, turns out. That's fine. I didn't want that spell anyways. I am happy and carefree, not a thought in sight. I'm going to play the Fabled Passage here, because this way if I draw another Fabled Passage next turn, I can escape the Uro, because this will be card 5 in my bin, and second Fabled Passage will be card 6. Where are the early lands? I mean, to be fair, our deck is playing like 30 or 31 lands. Yeah, we have 30 lands in our main deck, and like when we don't have 4 copies of Field of the Dead, this land count really catches up with us in a lot of situations. So like decks like Yarok Field, for example, can get away with that incredibly high land count because they're very likely to find their 4 of Field of the Dead with all the tools that they have. This archetype as built can't do that. Gonna pick Nissa up here.
Do not harm my scrolls.
Do not harm my scrolls.
The storied past holds our future.
Man, can we pour one out for explosive vegetation? Just like 2 different, strictly better explosive vegetations the last year or two? Oh, mercy! Mercy! Feels Magic the Gathering, man. Hey, Mafia, thanks for the 9 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right. Moving on up. Do-do-do-do. Be-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I'm really glad we drew a Hydroid Krasis. I don't have to like tilt off the face of the planet here. Really glad there's a Hydroid Krasis. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's draw 4. Well, I mean, at least we drew Field of the Dead, huh? Glass half full. Creature land? And creature lands are things like, don't you dare play a removal spell. God bless America, my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of the I sing. Do. Creature lands are like Mobilized District. Mobilized District is an example of a creature land that's currently standard legal. Yikes. Yikes! The top of our opponent's deck has certainly been reasonable. Yeah, Mishra's Workshop, Mishra's Factory, Mishra's Factory, Mutavault, Raging Ravine, Treetop Village, Creeping Tar Pit, Celestial Colonnade, Nantuko Monastery. How could I forget my favorite creature land, Nantuko Monastery here. Dear Watsy, please reprint Nantuko Monastery.
Every story is an opportunity.
Stop drawing bombs!
I know.
Stop it! Stop it! Speaking of bigoted bombs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Trigger. Whee!
Stop interrupting me.
Stop interrupting me. Hold up the dispute? Nah, their grace is gonna be littler than mine. Holding up dispute meant I had to draw one less card, chat. Why do you hate drawing cards, chat? What did those cards ever do to you? Nice, D20 Bandit, congrats. Yeah, it seems like a sweet one. A few different people have said the Grixis deck's been good for them in Historic. Aggro.
The past is never forgotten.
Nice, monster. I'm glad to hear the Jund deck is gas.
I am not going to sit this one out.
What do I do with Teferi? Am I plussing him? I'm gonna bounce Krasis. I'll let them draw some cards, but like, I think that's fine. I get to dispute it on the way back down.
To the library.
Wow, with the soul reads. Harsh but fair. Well played on their part. Torbrand plus Chain Whirler is very good. Very, very good. That's not bad.
Let's try this.
Listen, chat, contrary to what some more salty streamers would have you believe, every time someone makes a good play like playing around Mystic Dispute, they're not ghosting. Sometimes people just make good Magic plays. Yeah, bouncing Graces implies something. Exactly. Why no trample? Because I want to escape this and hold up Mystic Dispute still. And bog them. I refuse to believe my opponent is capable of making good plays. You're not, I mean, you're not alone. Oh, I guess I have a mana from this technically. Oh, God. Earl plus Knight is so awkward. All right, we found our one of Field of the Dead, and we were able to win the game because of it. Yeah, I'm going to run it back. My opponent never wins with skill, it's always cheating. Scum. think this is a mulligan because I can't cast Ashiok. The flip side is, nah, I'm going to keep. They have 8 discard spells in their deck. I'm just going to keep a hand with lands in it. The problem with mulliganing for better spells is, like, your opponent with 8 discard spells is going to, like, take your spells away. So you might as well just, like, keep whatever hand you can get with lands in it and hope to get lucky off the top. Is the plan. Uro. Alright, let's play Knight out here to threaten Nissa next turn. Knight can act as a pseudo ramp spell because you can float mana with a land and then Knight the land. Hey, Subtle Oxidation. Thank you for the 11 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Deal. And then we'll do the Knight trick with a fetch land here to grab Fabled Passage. So this cranks our Knight up to a 4/4, which is great. Ghost Quarter doesn't seem particularly useful against their deck, so I'm going to go ahead and animate that one. It's the one I care about dying the least of the lands that I have in play. Sounds good, Percy. 174, sweet. Yeah, I bet we break 200. I'd be kind of surprised if we fill at this point, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see like 200 or so. Hoping to fade Ritualist here would be kind of bad for us, especially if they sandbag it for a turn or two. Yeah, no blocks. Is there a deadline for entering? Yeah, so long as there's still spots open, it's looking like they're going to be. Registration will be open up till an hour before the tournament's scheduled to start. Do you think if my opponent's going to be eating my Nissa on stream, I should have to tag my stream as NSFW? You think I'd get in trouble if I don't? I think we want to just Krasis for 2 here. Want to try and just like get enough power in play that we can race this this shifting Ceratops. Dealer's choice. Is there a ritual in my future here? I'm just pulsing that, sure. So, I have an attack for 7 here. Am I supposed to just crank this blast zone to 4? Like, I don't really have any other answers to this, right? I feel like I want to just start working the blast zone up towards 4. I'm just gonna Teferi and draw a card. This might get a hey, look a distraction out of this. I should probably tap my colorless land though. It didn't matter. Almost asked why you didn't bounce the down. Protection's a fun and interesting mechanic. Very, very interactive. Yep. Really need to draw a Conqueror's Death here. I guess this turn, no, if I shock, I just die. Yeah.
Right on schedule. I won't let you win. Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
That's unfortunate. So the way I tap my lands, it's awkward here. Yeah, I probably should have played one of the islands out last turn. I prioritized conserving my health total to conceal information. And that was wrong with the castle in hand especially. Because now if they kill my knight, I have to chump block with the Ghost Quarter. Which is not ideal. On the off chance they don't have a removal spell for my knight, we're in a good spot. Ritualist is also just like straight up lethal here. That's a lot of looks.
If you wish to surrender now, you cannot see your folly. I have just the trick for this.
Yep. I can't draw extra cards anymore. So we'll get one shot next turn. Need a Conqueror's Death here, of which we have two. I have one Time Wipe in my deck as well that I left in. If they have another basic forest, we die? Ah, yeah, that's true. That's fine, I knew it. I looked deep into their soul and knew they didn't have it. This one seemed like a bit of a miss for me. I feel 50 bids for Landy, thanks Marty. I feel like this deck was doing a lot of different things and it didn't really do any of them particularly well. Like, against the other ramp deck, they just went over the top of us with Agent of Treachery and only having one Field of the Dead and no Agent of Treachery makes us feel really behind there. Against aggressive decks, our curve is it's non-existent, right? Like we have 4 1-drops and then we go to 3. We like have 2 Aether Gusts out of the sideboard. We like don't even have anything like Baffling End or stuff like that. I feel like maybe this is probably good against like mid-range decks or like maybe control decks, but like we also just got dumpstered by a Sultai control deck, so I'm not even sure that that's true in the event that they have Narset. I feel like this deck looks like someone took one of the Bant decks from Standard and just like shoved Field of the Dead Knight into it without really assessing like, were those reasonable things to be doing? One of the other things is that, similar to Field of the Dead, hey, Brad. Hope you're doing well. Do you have a mod sword here? I feel like you should. Let's fix that in case you don't. Look at that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Yeah, the other flip side of this was, like Yarok Field and Golos Field, this deck was playing 30 lands, which is fine when you have 4 Field of the Dead and extra ways to find them, but unfortunately this build does not really do that. Like, Knight is technically a way to search, but there's only 4 copies and you have to untap with Knight to find it, unlike Golos where you just have to cast. Oh, perfect, Brad. Look at that. Look at that. We got a sub out of testing. You'll love to see it. All right, we've got one more historic deck here before I'm all done for the day. We are going to wrap up today with some white-blue life gain planeswalkers here. So leveraging that Soul Siblings core, but playing a bunch of planeswalkers here at the top end to leverage Interplanar Begin. So I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick ad roll while I get everything set up and my client restarted and flipped over. We'll be back in just a few minutes to wrap things up today with this.